My parents took me out of their will, and are giving everything to my sister because of what? Recently I was helping my parents with a bit of late spring cleaning and throwing a lot of old rubbish out when I came across what I assume is the most recent copy of their will. I didn't mean to look at it, but as I was moving it, I noticed in the beneficiaries section on the front, only my sister was listed. Then, I know it was horrible of me to do, but I decided to have a read through it. Turns out, I'm not in it, at all. My sister is listed as the sole beneficiary. She will get their house, life insurance policies, savings, car, absolutely everything. They aren't rich people by any means, but due to the way property prices have risen since they bought their house in the 80s, this probably comes in total to about £500,000, or roughly $650,000. They have always had a thing with favoring my sister a bit more than me giving her extra attention and stuff, but I've never really minded. She is a bit of a screw up, and if I'm honest, she has needed the extra attention. I'm not going to lie either, my financial situation is a lot better than my parents'. I'm engaged and together, me and my partner have no kids and make about £45,000 each, or around $60,000 a year, while my sister is a single parent of 2 children with a deadbeat baby daddy who owes no child support while earning about £16,000, or around $20,000 a year. I know that is a lot of a gap, and I would understand if they left her a greater share to help her out more, but leaving me with nothing just seems so harsh. Whilst me and my fiancé do earn more, we aren't exactly rolling in money, and even if they had only left me 20%, it would still be more than enough to help me start to buy a house. Obviously this is all hypothetical, as they are both perfectly healthy and have a long time in them, yet it just seems harsh that if they were to die tomorrow, my sister would be set whilst I would be left with nothing. Am I right to be angry about this? Should I confront them about it or not? I know it's not my money at all, but she is a terrible daughter to them. Over the years she has lied to them, stolen money from them and me, had to be bailed out, and paid fines for substance charges, and more, and she barely even finished school as well, so whilst she is financially worse off, it's only because she has made herself so. On the other hand, I visit them all the time, help them out whenever they asked, and went to university, which they had always wanted me to do. I paid for it 100% myself with no help, and it just seems like they are punishing me and rewarding her for being such a failure. They have also always had a different parenting style of letting me make my own way. If I wanted something, I was expected to do chores or get a job and pay for it. On the other hand, my parents always bought everything my sister wanted and never really expected as much from her as me. How is this fair? Update: my parents took me out of their will, and are giving everything to my sister because of what? I found out that I was an accident. Apparently after my sister, my mom had a miscarriage and they decided not to try again, and then a year later, along pops me. Because I was unplanned, they hadn't really thought through their finances, and so for about a year and a half, my dad had to work 2 jobs and has always felt that I made him miss out on my sister growing up, and that because he rarely saw me he has never really connected with me. As for my mom, the previous miscarriage had put her off from having children, and she was content with her little girl and by then, and was quite happy to be done having children. I also came to find out that they are both disappointed with me. They don't like my fiancé, they don't like that I live a 40-minute drive away, and they are sad that I chose accountancy instead of doing a law degree. But most of all, they are disappointed that I am not closer to my sister, the same girl who spent most of her life bullying me, who has treated them appallingly, who stole money from them regularly until she moved out, and who I was persuaded to lend £2,000 of my savings for university to so she could clear some debts. She never even paid that back, and I had to get into a lot of debt myself to get through my final year. It's not even like I am horrible to my sister now. I love my niece and nephew and spoil them all the time, and for their sake will help her out from time to time with money for bills and food. Apparently this is why I am not in the will, and never have been, except when I was younger, when custody of me would have been given to an aunt until I was 18. They have never really seen me as their son. I was always a bit too distant and self-reliant, and apparently made it easy for them to love my sister more. I'm not down to get anything, as they don't really view me as part of the family. Me going away for 3 years to university made it worse, but it's something that they have always felt. They asked me if I felt that it was wrong. I could persuade them otherwise and they would change it somewhat. My sister would still be the main beneficiary, but I would get something from them. I just left. I was done with this family. I told them I didn't care about the money at all, and if they cannot see me as a son, then I no longer see them as parents. I tell people I'm an orphan now.